else you can do, because if you're conservative like I am, you hoard, cash and liquid assets because you have leverage on real estate. So it's like, and the other thing with it is it's not something you can really walk away from. Like, you're kind of in it. Once you're in it, you're in
Yeah.
it. If you got a note or you got leverage, like, you have to see that through. Whereas other businesses, like, if you get tired of it, you're just like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I quit. Like, I'm, putting up shop. I'm going to go do something else. It's like, you can't do that in real estate. Like, if you bought a big multifamily project, you got to rent those apartments out, because if you're not renting them out, then you got bigger problems. So,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
something to think about there.
Plus, you
But
don't have debt. If you don't have
yeah, you don't
debt,
have,
then you could just like, have your own like convention or whatever you want to do with it, right?
right.
Like not having debt, not having that monthly payment that you got to come up with, or they take your assets away. It's extremely liberating. I
Right.
mean, I think Dave Ramsey, he was a big, buy rental real estate without financing. Different people have different opinions on that. I mean, obviously, in the market like the U.S., it seems like it's really hard to make money unless you're doing, unless you got some leverage, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, like, we've looked at doing a fund that was non-levered, and it's like, you can make good returns, but it's not super attractive compared to what you could get in the stock market or what you could get on a money market right now. So it's like, yeah, we could go no leverage at all, just use equity to do these projects, and they would still, like, probably look good. They'd probably be 25 to 30% type return. But, like, if you had leverage on that, it would be like 100, you could really blow it out of the water. There's just more risk, right? So it's like, if you could build one property and double your equity if you had some leverage, or make a 15% return if you have no leverage. It's hard to get investors on a 15% return when they're like, well, that's okay, but, like, I can get 6% or 5%, risk free, and I've got other money in the stock market. But yeah, man, pivoting a little bit, what other investment thesis? I know you've said, like, you've dogged on 10. I've seen a bunch of those.
Oh yeah, I'm just joking. Okay, on the 10 thing, I'm completely joking. I actually have no opinion at all. All right. I literally was just trying to rile somebody up.
Yeah.
Like just one guy actually. So it was a joke, and I said it was a joke. Okay, so I don't have anything against 10. I don't have a dog in the fight at all. I'm not long, I'm not short. I don't have an opinion. It's not something I know a lot about. I looked at some of the names. You know, nothing jumped out at me as like super attractive, so I'm just not touching it. Um, Silver, I like the miners. Um, I've actually like silver miners and gold miners were the first stocks that I ever played with at all. Like when I was 18 years old, starting to get interested in finance stuff. I like the first things I ever looked at were like mining companies, right? That was just like where my brain immediately went to, is like where there would be value. Um, so I'm kind of interested in the silver miners right now. I just put on a couple positions. They're just kind of they've sold off a lot, and they're really cheap relative to the metal, versus historicals. So I thought it was a good entry point. We got an election year coming up, probably going to be a pretty dirty, nasty, uncertain election. Silver usually does well in dirty, nasty, uncertain times. So and then there's the solar demand, like the installed solar volumes this year. It's like a 50 something percent increase. And the growth rate is just crazy, and it's accelerating. So this past year, I did an article with all of the specifics, but I want to say that photovoltaics were around 10%. I don't have the exact number on the top of my head, but I want to say it was around 10% of the total. But just that part of demand was growing so fast that in a couple of years it would be the biggest individual demand component. So, to me, that seemed really interesting and compelling. Apparently, it's kind of the same setup in 10. But in silver, I kind of know the companies already. I know, I know the space a little bit better. I'm familiar with some of the assets. I've owned some of them before. So it was just something that I was more comfortable playing with there.